Hello dear students, myself CMA Padmaja Buzruk. I will discuss accounts of banking company. Go to study note number 4, accounts of banking, electricity and insurance companies. I will discuss accounts of banking companies. Secured and unsecured advance. Secured advance means where a bank grants advance to its customer against any tangible security. Similarly, where an advance is granted by a bank to its customers without taking any tangible security, the same is called unsecured advance. It is needless to mention here that when an advance is granted by a bank to its customers against any tangible security, bank can dispose of the said security for the realization of principal and interest in case of default. So bank grants loan to customers against security which is known as secured advance. But if branch bank grants loan to customers without taking any tangible security, then it is known as unsecured advance. When secured advance is given and if the customer fails to pay the principal as well as interest, then bank can sell off the securities, that is dispose of the securities to recover principal and interest. The status of securities and the value of securities must be mentioned by every bank in Schedule 9. Before granting credit, every bank must compare with the market value of securities so placed to the bank and the amount of advance granted by bank together with the amount of interest. Now we'll see illustration 5. The books of a bank include a loan of 5 lakh advanced on 30 September 12, interest chargeable at 16% per annum compounded quarterly. This is very important. The security for the loan being 7,000 shares of 100 each in a public limited company valued at rupees 90 each. There is no repayment till 31st December 13. On 31st December 13, the value of shares declined to 80 per share. How would you classify the loan? As secured or unsecured in the balance sheet? Loan amount is 5 lakh, rate of interest is 16%, it is compounded annually. Security for the loan is given to the bank which is 7,000 shares of 100 each, but whose market value was 90 but it has gone down to 80 per share. The question is, how would you classify this 5 lakhs as in the balance sheet as secured or unsecured loan? Now first we'll see calculation of outstanding interest. Quarterly interest, date of sanctioning of the loan was given on 30 September. So first quarter is 31st December 12. Interest is to be calculated. Loan amount is 5 lakh. On 5 lakh at 16% for 3 months, interest is 20,000. This is unpaid, outstanding. So loan amount plus interest, because it is compounding quarterly, 5 lakhs 20,000. Next quarter is 31st March. On 31st March, interest is to be calculated on 5 lakh 20,000 at 16% for 3 months. 20,800 will be the interest amount. 5 lakh 20,000 plus 20,800, 5 lakh 40,800 is the closing balance. On that, you are supposed to calculate next quarter's interest. On 5,40,800 at 16% for 3 months, interest is 21,632. This is for the quarter ending 30 June. Add this interest amount to the outstanding amount, which is 5,40,800. You will get 5,62,432. On that, at 16% for 3 months, interest is to be calculated, which is 22,497 for the quarter ended 30 September 13. Add this interest to the outstanding balance, you will get 5,84,929. On that, at 16% for 3 months, calculate interest, which will be 23,397 for the quarter ended 31st December 13. If you add this to the outstanding balance, total Outstanding loan plus interest is 6,08,326. Total of the interest amount is 1,08,326. Now see how it is to be shown in the balance sheet. Loan amount is 5 lakhs. Outstanding interest, just now we have seen calculation, 1,08,326. Total claim is 6,08,326. Security given is 7,000 shares, whose market value as on the date of 31st December 13 is 80. So this is the realizable value of security. 7,000 into 80, 5,60,000 is to be shown as secured loans and advances, and 6,08,326 minus 5,60,000, 48,326 is to be shown as unsecured loan in the balance sheet. This is how it is to be classified. Non-performing asset. An asset becomes non-performing when it ceases to generate income for bank. When any asset do not generate any income for the bank, then it is known as non-performing asset. If bank has granted loans and advances and there is default in paying principal as well as interest, then it is known as non-performing asset. While closing books for an accounting year, bank takes credit for interest accrued on term loan, cash credit, overdraft, bills purchased and discounted, etc. But it must not take credit for interest accrued on non-performing asset. Income on non-performing asset should not be recognized on accrual basis. Very important. Income on non-performing asset should not be recognized on accrual basis, should be treated as income when actually received. So it is to be recognized on cash basis. If interest remains outstanding for more than 90 days, then it is treated as non-performing asset. RBI's prudential accounting norms, just to control the lending activities, the recommendations of Narsinha Committee was accepted by RBI. As per the recommendation, RBI's prudential accounting norms are recognition of income, classification of asset, and provision for loans and advances. All three we will be discussing in details: A, B and C. B is classification of assets, C is provision for loans and advances. Recognition of assets. As per RBI's norm, every bank must recognize its income under cash basis. For income under non-performing assets, for NPA, non-performing asset, income is to be recognized under cash basis, and for performing assets, income is to be recognized under accrual basis. Given below are the details of interest on advance of a commercial bank as on 31st March 13 rupees are in crores. Interest earned and interest received. Performing assets, below that you have term loan, cash credit and overdraft, bills discounted and purchased. Non-performing assets, below that you have term loan, cash credit and overdraft, bills discounted and purchased. Find out income to be recognized for the year ended 31st March 30. For performing asset, income is to be recognized on accrual basis, and for non-performing asset, income is to be recognized on cash basis. So that means term loan under performing asset, actual interest earned, that is 240, and under non-performing asset, cash basis, that is actual interest received, is 10, 240 and 10. For cash credit and overdraft, for performing asset, accrual basis, that is interest earned, 1500, and if it is non-performing asset, interest received cash basis, 24. Bill purchased and discounted for performing asset, accrual basis, which is 300, and for non-performing asset, cash basis, which is 40. So 240 and 10, 1524, 340. Total is 2144. That is the income to be recognized. Now B is classification of assets. Assets are classified in two groups as per Banking Regulation Act, and these two groups are performing or standard assets and non-performing assets. Non-performing assets are again grouped as substandard assets, doubtful assets, and loss assets. Now see provision required for various class of assets or provision required for various loans and advances. This provision is as per class of asset. We'll see it. Performing asset is also known as standard asset and non-performing asset. For performing or standard asset, if the loans and advances are given to agriculture or small and medium industries, then 0.25% of loans and advances provision is to be made. If the advances is given to commercial real estate sector, loans and advances are given if to commercial real estate sector, then provision for that loans and advances is 1% of the loan amount. All other loans and advances, provision is to be made at 0.40%. See, in the examination, if you get a question, only if performing asset is mentioned and no classification of performing asset or standard asset is given, then by default we'll assume that it is other loans and advances and provision is to be made at 0.40%. Non-performing assets are again grouped under substandard asset, doubtful asset, and loss asset. In case of substandard asset, if it is secured, then 15% provision is to be made. If it is unsecured, 25% provision is to be made. If it is having escrow safeguard, then 20% provision is to be made. In the examination, if it is not mentioned whether it is secured, unsecured, or having escrow safeguard, then by default we'll assume that it is secured and 15% provision is to be made. Doubtful asset, unsecured and secured. For unsecured portion of doubtful asset, 100% provision is to be made, and secured portion, again it is grouped under three categories: up to 1 year 25%, 1 to 3 years 40%, above 3 years 100%. And for loss asset, 100% provision is to be made. This is very important, provision required for various class of assets or loans and advances. Remember this chart. This will help you in solving the questions. Just now we have seen the chart. Now we'll see this table. Same, but it is very difficult to remember this table. It's easy to remember if you go through the chart. Standard advances, advances given to agriculture, small and medium industries 0.25%, advance to commercial real estate sector 1%, all other advances 0.4%. This is for performing asset. Non-performing asset, below that substandard advances, secured portion 15%, unsecured exposure in respect of infrastructure loan account where certain safeguards such as escrow accounts are available. When escrow safeguard is given, 20%, unsecured other loans 25%, doubtful advances unsecured portion 100%, doubtful advance secured portion, doubtful up to 1 year 25%, 1 to 3 years 40%, above 3 years 100%. For loss asset 100%. Loss asset, the asset which are not realizable at all are known as loss assets. The entire amount should be written off or full provision should be made for the amount of outstanding provision at 100% of such asset. How to make provision in respect of advances covered by guarantees of DI, CGC, ECGC. In case of advances granted by Export Credit Guarantee Corporation or by Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation, provision is required to be made only for the balance in excess of the amount guaranteed by these corporations. In case the bank also holds a security in respect of an advance guaranteed by ECGC or DICGC, The realizable value of security should be deducted from the outstanding balance before the ECGC DICGC guarantee is set off. Where there is an upper limit to which the ECGC or DICGC guarantee applies, this fact should be duly recognized in computing the amount of provision required. Now we'll see the statement of calculation. Amount outstanding, that is loan amount outstanding, less realizable value of security, that is the market value of security held. You will get the balancing figure, less ECGC DICGC cover. The balancing part will be unsecured portion. Provision required for unsecured portion of doubtful asset is 100%. For unsecured portion, provision is 100%. Provision required for secured portion of doubtful asset 25%, 40% or 100%. Why 25%, 40% or 100%? Just now we have seen the chart. If doubtful, in case of doubtful asset, secured portion up to 1 year 25%, 1 to 3 years 40%, above 3 years it is 100%. So after deducting that, after adding these two provisions, that is provision on unsecured portion as well as secured portion, you will get total provision. Now we'll see illustration 7. From the following information of details of advances of X Bank Limited, calculate the amount of provision to be made in profit and loss account for the year ended 31st March 12. Asset classification: standard 6,000, substandard 4,400, standard asset, performing asset 6,000. What I told you, if nothing is mentioned, assume 0.40%, so provision is 24 lakh. Substandard asset 4,400, if nothing is mentioned, we'll assume substandard asset. I have told you, if nothing is given, 15%. For standard or performing asset, if nothing is given, 0.40%. Doubtful for 1 year 25%, 2 years 40%, 3 years 40%, more than 3 years 100%, and loss asset 100%. 0.40% of 6,000 is 24, 15% of 4,400 is 660, 25% of 1,800 is 450, 40% of 1,200 is 480, 40% of 800 is 320, 100% of 600 is 600, 100% of 1,600 is 1,600. Total provision is 4,134. Now illustration 8. From the particulars given below, ascertain the amount of provision to be made against the advances of SBI Kolkata. Rupees are in lakhs. Total amount of loan and advances 120. Advance fully secured, that is performing asset, standard asset 70 is the amount. Advance overdue for 15 months 20. Advance overdue for more than 2.5 years but less than 3 years is 10. Secured by mortgage of land and building 5 lakhs. 10 lakh advance is given. Out of that they are having security worth rupees 5 lakhs. Unsecured advance non-recoverable 20. This is, you can call it as loss asset. So for 70 standard advance 0.40% provision 28,000. Substandard advance 20, 15% provision 3 lakhs. Doubtful advance is 10. Now see here, 10 lakhs is advance given, security provided 5 lakh, unsecured portion is 5 lakhs. So 40% of 5 lakhs plus 5 lakhs. 100% of 5 lakhs is 5 lakhs. 40% of 5 lakhs is 2 lakhs. So which is 7 lakhs. Why 40%? Because it is less than 3 years. So 7 lakhs. And loss asset, for loss asset 100% provision is to be made 20 lakhs. Total is 30 lakhs 28,000. Illustration 9. Rajat Pita Bank Limited had extended the following credit lines to a small scale industry which had not paid any interest since March 2006. They have not paid interest since March 2006. Term loan and export loan. Balance outstanding as on 31st March 12. This balance they have given as on 31st March 12 and they have not paid since March 6. So 6 years it is outstanding. DICGC, ECGC cover 40%, 50%. Securities held 15 lakhs, 10 lakhs. Realizable value of securities 10 lakhs and 8 lakhs. If you sell the security in the market, you will be getting 10 lakhs and 8 lakhs, that is realizable value of securities. Balance outstanding 35 and 30, which is given. Realizable value of securities 10 and 8. So 25 and 22 is the balancing figure. DICGC and ECGC cover is 40% and 50%. So 40% of 25 is 10, 50% of 22 is 11. After deducting this, unsecured balance is 15 and 11. Necessary provisions to be made, we'll see now. 100% of unsecured portion, that is 15 and 11, and 100% of secured portion. What is secured portion? Realizable value of security secured portion 10 and 8. Why 100%? Because it is above 3 years. If it is above 3 years, 100% provision is to be made. So total provision required is 25 and 19. From the following information, find out the amount of provision required to be made in the profit and loss account of commercial bank for the year ended 31st March 13. First question. Packing credit outstanding from food processors 90 lakh against which the bank hold securities worth 22.5 lakhs. Loan amount outstanding is 90 lakhs but they are having security whose realizable value is 22.5 lakhs. 50% of the above is covered by ECGC. Above advance has remained doubtful for more than 3 years. It is doubtful for more than 3 years. Amount outstanding for packing credit is 90 lakhs. Realizable value of securities will deduct from that 22.5. The balancing figure is 67.50. ECGC cover is 50%. So 33.75. Unsecured balance is 33.75. Required provision 100% of unsecured balance, that is 33.75%, and 100% provision is to be made for secured portion. Secured portion is realizable value of securities 22.5, 56.25. Why 100% of secured portion? Because it has remained doubtful for more than 3 years. If it is outstanding for more than 3 years, then 100% provision is required. Other advances, asset classification standard 4,500, substandard 3,300. I have told you the percentage to be used by default if nothing is given 0.4% and 15%. Doubtful for 1 year 25%, 2 years 40%, 3 years 40%, more than 3 years 100%, for loss asset 100%. See here, standard asset 4,500, provision is 0.40%, amount is of provision is 18. Substandard 3,300, rupees are in lakhs, provision is 15%, 495 is the amount of provision. Doubtful for 1 year 25% of 1350, for 2 years 40% of 900, for 3 years 40% of 600, more than 3 years 100% of 450, and loss asset 100% of 900. Total provision is 2800.5. In this particular video, we have seen secured and unsecured assets, non-performing assets, classification of assets, provision required for various class of assets, advance guarantee by ECGC and DICGC, and illustrations covering the same. Thank you.